Hello and welcome to this week's issue of BRN United. I'm going to do something this week that I don't normally do. I'm going to be looking at a few more statistics, so pardon me if you see me kind of glancing off and looking at a piece of paper. I don't know if you've seen what I saw, but recently the Southern Baptist Convention published their annual statistical report about how our churches were doing and what they reported on their annual church profile last year. Let me just share a couple things with you. Nationally, Southern Baptists reported that we had declines in membership, worship attendance, baptisms, and mission giving. Thankfully, there was a small increase in the number of churches in our convention. Well, I got to thinking, well, what about Penn, South Jersey? How are we doing? Well, it indicated as we looked at our report that the decline was similar for us. In looking deeper, I noted, however, that in 2014 we had 226 churches that reported on our annual church profile, but only 210 reported in 2015. So I was thinking, well, maybe a better way to look at this would not be to look at the totals, but to look at the average report from each church. So let me share what I found. I found that in 2014, our churches averaged 8 baptisms per church. In 2015, it was down slightly to 7.5. In 2014, our worship attendance was, on the average, was 94. That didn't change in 2015. Our Sunday school, a small group, a Bible study attendance dropped from an average of 52 to an average of 49. Undesignated giving, however, increased from 62,000 to over 63,500. Our average church membership actually increased by 10 from 118 to 128. Now, the Baptist Press reported that the average Southern Baptist church has 1 baptism for every 52 members. In Penn, Jersey, that number was 1 baptism per every 17 members. Certainly a report like this, while it has some bright spots, it is disappointing. We can celebrate that we grew in members, we can celebrate that we grew in giving, yet it drives me to ask, what must we do? What must we do? There are 3 questions that I think are critical for us to consider. And I believe, and I would suggest every one of us, pastors and church members, wrestle with these questions. First of all, are we seeing new disciples in our churches? Are new people coming to faith in Christ? Secondly, do we see these new disciples becoming disciple makers as they learn and exercise the wonderful opportunity to share their faith? And then thirdly, how are we raising up and equipping new leaders in our church for the needs of our own church, but also for the needs of new churches that may emerge in the coming months and years? I would say to you that our Baptist Resource Network teams, our Healthy Churches team, and our Missional Living team, and our Multiplying Churches team, we are eager and ready to assist you in working through these hard questions. Call, email, contact us. We would love to sit down and talk with you and to learn of your vision and perhaps ways that we could come alongside and help you so that we would see more disciples and more disciple makers and more equipped leaders in the coming years. Now, we also realize that ultimately this kind of work is not the work of Baptist programs and the work of our best efforts. It is the work of God Himself. We need a spiritual awakening. And I hope that you're planning to join in one of our boot camps for prayer coming up July 26, 27, and 28. There'll be one in Western PA, there'll be one in Central Pennsylvania, as well as one over in New Jersey. You can check our website for more information. Recently, I was discussing this statistic, this report, with one of our pastors, and let me tell you what he shared with me. He said, Stan, I get up at 4 o'clock every morning. He's a bivocational pastor. And from 4 to 7, I spend that time with the Lord in prayer, in Bible reading, in solitude and worship. And then he went on to say, I don't know how I would make it without that time. Man, I was deeply convicted by the passion and the commitment of this pastor to develop a deeper relationship with the Lord. Are we that desperate? Are we that dependent on God? Oh, I pray that it's so. Thank you, and I'll talk to you next week.